in our marriage, we had more than one marriage counselor that we consulted with. And one thing was clear, that if you two, Mercy and so and so, if you had come in for premarital counseling, we would never have allowed you to get married. Not really allowed, but advised.
Yeah.
We were wrong for each other. We had so much going on in our past, and it was making us really messed up people. So we were two very messed up people coming together. That does not create something beautiful. It doesn't create a stable relationship.
No, it's just chaos and violence.
Yes. And codependency.
Yeah, a lot of codependency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I was looking at this man and seeing, I was very excited about marriage.
Yeah.
What was exciting me was the idea that, hey, I'd have my own unit. For me, marriage is about partnership.
Yeah.
And we could have this empire, we'd grow. I've always been business oriented. Hey, I got to around 5 months, I found out about a certain woman. Now, one tendency I've had for a very long time, and I'm still trying to get out of it, is being passive aggressive. So I'd shut down. That combined with coming from a family where you do not speak out.
Yeah.
First, as who?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a child.
Yeah.
So I kept quiet. I asked about it. This person has left certain clothing items in the back seat. And I'm pregnant. I'm 5 months pregnant. I have what has already been termed as a high-risk pregnancy. But when I first got sick, he was not there. I'm holding a child who is, I think, he was 10 days old, and driving myself to hospital in pain. And I was hospitalized for a week, so I was to have a surgery done urgently, but they couldn't do it there. So I took the next flight to Nairobi. And you know what spouses do? You know those beautiful couples where, oh, my wife is unwell.
Yeah,
they hold each other's hands. I don't know if I'm watching too many movies, but I think that's how it's supposed to be.
It is supposed to be.
This is your
like
life partner. Yes. This is your child's mother.
Yes.
He did not show up. Actually, by the time I got to Nairobi, even my own parents who came from Njeri, my whole family was there.
And where was he?
My husband was not there.
Welcome to the Golden Apple Show with me, your host, Njeri. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing, for commenting and sharing my content. I have said this time without number, no story is too small, and your story could be the key to someone else's prison. Today we are talking about parenting after divorce. Parenting after the big D. Let me tell you people, divorce is something that is looked at as something that is not meant to happen to anyone. Oh, wait, pause. Acha nirudia hapo parenting after the D.
Carry on.
We are looking at parenting after divorce. Parenting after the big D. Let me tell you, especially in our African context, women who are divorced, whether they walked out or their partners walked out, are people that are looked down upon. We come up with all these narratives, we come up with all these stories about what they didn't do right. Were they eating food, if you know what I mean? Were you dressed well? Did you add weight? Did you change? We are told to be Proverbs 31 women. We are told that these husbands that we have are our first children. It makes me wonder, if a marriage does not work, does it mean that the value of that person has diminished? Does it mean that they cannot make it right again? Does it mean that even if they have children, they cannot be able to take care of these children? And what happens as a result of our conditioning? After divorce, the man will get away with so much. They will even get to marry again. Happy for them. But if a woman makes an extra step and gets into a relationship and starts her life over again, it becomes a topic of discussion. She becomes a point of ridicule, and everybody is just looking at her thinking that she ought not to have done that. Are we really fair? Matters parenting after divorce now. How is it possible to have a cordial relationship with regards to parenting these children when you guys are not together? Remember that you guys took a vow, you were supposed to be together until death do you part, and that didn't happen. How do you maintain that relationship? That one. Oh, how do you maintain that relationship so that you create a conducive environment for those children? How do you show up for your children, putting your differences aside, so you can raise a fully functional human being? With me, I have a guest. We've come a long way. And I'll let her introduce herself to us, and then she will tell us her story about parenting in this situation that she's in. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
You can tell us your name and what other information you'd like us to know.
Okay. My name is Mercy Lydia Nge'ndo. Born and raised in Njeri. Disclaimer, which is very necessary at this point: I do not beat men. And none of the 3 generations of women before me have been known to beat men.
Okay.
So I am a good Njeri woman.
Point noted.
That was on a light note. I am a born-again Christian. Very important.
Yeah.
I am also a mother. That's probably one of the things that I'm most proud about.
Yeah.
I love being a mom. I love the blessing of raising a human being,
Yeah.
impacting this human being's life.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's beautiful. And I have had many titles in my life. That's one that has never changed.
Yeah.
But the one that changed was that I was a Mrs. in 2011. And I stopped being a Mrs. and went back to being a Miss in 2020. So roughly 9 years of marriage. I got married in church. And so we are legally divorced. Yes. I am 35 years old. And I have one child, an amazing 9-year-old boy. He just turned 9. So yeah, preteen manenos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for that introduction. You mentioned you have had many titles in your life, but there's one that changed as time went by, because life is all about change and transitioning. And you mentioned that you were married, but now you're legally divorced, and you had a white wedding. And I want to imagine there's a story behind you mentioning that specific aspect. So please tell us, how did you meet your ex-husband and up to the point of marriage?
Okay. How we met? We were in the same university. And we had some mutual friends. And since we used to hang out a lot, well, we started dating, and I think we dated for about 2 years, on and off. Yeah, there is a story in between where we got engaged, then broke off the engagement, got back together, and then eventually got married. I believe we met in 2009, and we got married at the end of 2011. So he was a student at the same university, though he had been a member of staff. So he knew me, but I did not know he existed. Yeah, that is how we met. And we had our wedding in 2011. Now, I mentioned that I'm a born-again Christian. I also come from a very solid Christian background. So we had our wedding in church, following all the protocols. We felt it was very important. It was as white weddings get, because I was as green girls get. Yes, he was my first. Yeah, sips coffee. Yeah. We now got married in 2011 and had our first child in 2014. Yes. Now, I know you have a question.
Yes.
Ask.
You dated for 2 years.
Yes.
And in this day and age, or rather it's been like that even from Kitambo, when people were dating, they engage in premarital sex even before they get married. So even the virtue of having a white wedding is not of importance, because wearing that white gown means you are pure.
Yes.
But the fact that people engage in that, already the vow has been broken. However, how did you maintain that sanctity and just put your foot down and had to wait until after marriage?
It all boils down to values and beliefs. I grew up believing that sex was for marriage, and that's it. It's not negotiable. Unfortunately, as I came to learn later, I was chilling alone. That is how we broke off our engagement at some point. I felt it was very important. I made a vow to God that I really wanted to wait, and I didn't mind waiting. It felt very crucial for me to keep myself for the man who would marry me. Because I came to learn later about the one-sided cheating.
Yeah.
Well, of course I felt betrayed, but still, this is about my relationship with God. It is about my vow with God. So I said, it's okay. On my part, I'm okay. So we still got back together. Still got married. So I don't know if I can say this on air. I broke my virginity now when I was 24, because my 24th birthday was also a wedding day.
Oh wow.
Yes. So yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah.
Our courtship was very messy. Well, messy might be a bit extreme, but it wasn't very pleasant all through. Which now I realize I ended up with someone with, some manipulative tendencies. Earlier on, you had asked me about red flags. I didn't know there were any red flags or even flags. I was very naive. I didn't have information on relationships or what to look out for. All I knew is that getting a husband is a good thing. If someone wants to marry you, it is an honor. Yes, to be wanted for life.
To be chosen.
Oh yes, we are chosen. I was chosen. Yes. I was the chosen one among many maidens. So our courtship, we had these ups and downs. Let me call them that instead of messy.
Okay.
But now when I look back and I say I would never want an experience like that. We had this whirlwind romance at first, which now I came to learn over a decade later, it's what people call love bombing. I got many of those bombs, and they feel really nice. When you're like this princess, you're being spoiled. We'd go on road trips. I love road trips. And I'd be taken to nice hotels. I really felt valued. I felt this is what love is. And then I was even getting gifts.
Nice. And the whole shebang.
Yes, my goodness, love bombing is amazing. Then things started changing. That cycle of abuse. Now this is what I'm coming to learn way later.
Oh my God.
So I went from love bombing, was taken to being devalued. So suddenly, he's ish about me. And I'm there wondering, okay, nimefanya nini? And then the anxiety kicks in, and this this urge in me to prove myself to him.
Oh my God.
To work harder to be acceptable.
Yeah.
We went from being devalued. I went from being devalued to now, what's the next one? Being discarded. Phone calls, no more. You know, not responding to phone calls, not responding to messages. It's like being ghosted. You're given silent treatment.
Yeah.
And then now I wonder, what? No, seriously, what just happened? I thought everything was going so well. So now, you know, your mind takes you back to those beautiful moments. So what happened? You know, everything just changed. Sometimes it's a matter of weeks, sometimes it's days. Then from there, the guy comes back, the hoovering stage. Then suddenly he's interested in me, starts sending messages like, oh, I've missed you, or I was busy. Who is ever too busy for someone they want in their lives? You know, that's how we get lives too. Oh, I traveled. To where? There were no text messages, no phone calls, no emails. You know?
Like, it can't be that bad.
Seriously. So that's how I got lied to. And that cycle did not end during courtship. It came to an end the day he walked out. Because my entire marriage, my entire relationship and marriage to him was that cycle repeating itself. And let me tell you, Jackie, it is exhausting. It is emotionally draining, it is mentally draining, and it is one of the reasons why people get so much anxiety and depression. You start questioning yourself. Let me take you back to right before we got married. Of course, parents meeting and all that. Premarital counseling.
You went the church way, right?
Oh yes. Christians, you know, we have to do it by the book. Hey, we had premarital classes. That's something that was mandatory for the church to join us. And since we're members of a certain very prominent church, we of course signed up. I don't recall how many classes there were, maybe around 10. Don't really remember.
Usually 10, 12.
Yes, quite a number, because you know you have to really do a lot of work, and there were group settings. I'm saying this knowing very well I have a lot of respect for the church and for the church leaders. This is where things should have ended before they began. We had those number of sessions. Let's put them at an average of 10. He attended 2. So basically, I did my own premarital.
But you kept attending even alone?
Yeah, I was going alone. He was a very busy man. Very busy. And it's very important to be a busy man. And when he showed up, he couldn't even come with a notebook or anything. I remember the pastor getting upset about it. But when we were doing premarital counseling, not much was covered. What I now look at as the most important issues were not covered during premarital counseling.
Wow.
Because, you know, it was all about love your husband, love your wife, wife submit to your wife. You know, whatever Apostle Paul was saying, man, it was, you know, it was really instilled in us. Because that is what we knew marriage to be. It's about being biblical. You know, talk about finances. Finances, yes, they are a major issue in marriage. You know, so you people decide if you want a bank account together. You know, such things. I hate to say this, but it was very shallow.
Ouch.
Yes, ouch. Because now I'm saying this as someone who now went through marriage and is now able to look back and see these are the things that I wish were addressed before the couple comes together. So a church will ideally be very excited that, oh, our church is growing. People are getting married. You know, we are increasing in number. It's a good thing.
It is.
Because yes, we want to see churches growing, but at what expense? You know, we are not going to hear this from church leaders. but there are so many divorces in church.
Shout.
There are so many dysfunctional marriages in church. We'll get to that point about stigma and all that. So now premarital counseling was done that way.
Yeah.
And I wish that today, if I was able to advise anyone,
Yeah.
I'd tell them, please sit down with a marriage counselor.
True that.
I said I have nothing against the church,
Respectfully.
but sit down, both of you,
Yeah.
and also apart,
Yeah.
individually. Because here's the thing, you are two people coming from very different backgrounds. He had his own background, I had mine. We have gone through childhoods which are on extreme ends.
Yeah.
And we may have things that we have not sorted out, and then we come together and it becomes this mess of us triggering each other, this mess of us feeling insecure because of some things that happened in our past. I wish that had been addressed, because I say this as someone who had a lot of childhood trauma, and so did my ex-husband. And if those things had been identified by a professional, we would have gotten the help that we needed. That is true. But then again, we had in our marriage, we had more than one marriage counselor that we consulted with. And one thing was clear, that if you two, Mercy and so and so, if you had come in for premarital counseling, we would never have allowed you to get married. Not really allowed, but advised.
Yeah.
We were wrong for each other. We had so much going on in our past, and it was making us really messed up people. So we were two very messed up people coming together. That does not create something beautiful. It doesn't create a stable relationship.
No, it's just chaos and violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And codependency.
Yeah, a lot of codependency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I was looking at this man and seeing, I was very excited about marriage.
Yeah.
What was exciting me was the idea that, hey, I'd have my own unit, this family unit, and I was very idealistic. You know, it would be a beautiful union, because for me, marriage is about partnership.
Yeah.
And we could have this empire, we'd grow. I've always been business oriented, and I would imagine, hey, this is going to be amazing, because we are going to come together, and he's this hardworking man, and have all these brilliant ideas, and it was going to be a beautiful marriage. And that was going to be different from what I grew up seeing.
Because I wanted to ask, where did that idealistic world come from? You were trying to run away from what you saw.
Oh, you've used the right term, actually, running away. And it's not until we had a session with you, a group session, where in 2020, it hit me. I actually got married because I was running away. I was running away from what I'd known. I hadn't really identified, but it was what I'd known growing up was a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about it. Because in dysfunctional families, we really don't want to taint the image.
There's a lot of secrecy.
There was a lot of secrecy, and also you want things to remain as they are, because changing things is difficult. Changing things is painful. Having to confront some of these things that are going on is very painful. So it's just hush.
Yeah.
So you sweep things under the rug, and that is what I knew. And growing up in such a setting, I knew that I had to do something different.
Yeah.
So yes, I was going to be this wife. And of course, I have already been told that if I submit to my husband, oh, Jackie,
kila kitu,
I tell you, he will give me whatever I need. And you know, life was going to be a beautiful thing. I was running away from family functions. That now, because I'm starting my own family, I don't have to be in the midst of this tension every Christmas or Easter or every other gathering that we have. That is what I had in my mind. And it took me that long for me to realize, oh my goodness, I didn't get married because I felt ready. Because one, there was a man who was proposed to me. I'm the chosen one.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yes. Secondly, I am getting married because, you see what I said. I mean, I can do this.
Yeah, you need to.
It was going to be my project.
I know. You unaijenga vizuri.
Yes. So that is how I got into marriage. In fact,
God,
I was not even ready to have children. I wasn't thinking about it.
oh my.
But let me tell you how Christian I was.
Oh.
I wanted 5 children.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yes. Because somewhere in the Bible, somewhere David wrote, I think. Watu wa Bible study watasikia nikihanga hapa.
Atuchome tu.
About children are heritage from God.
Oh yeah, kuna verse kama hiyo.
Yes, the man whose quiver is full. A quiver has 5 arrows. Now you see how I was getting deep into
what
the
were
word.
Proverbs 31. Alafu multiply mujaze dunia.
What are you saying? My quiver would be full.
The capital of womanhood and perfection.
Yes. Sons are a heritage from the Lord, and children are his reward. That man whose quiver is full shall not be afraid of enemies coming to his gates. You know, because you have the solid home.
Yes.
So me and my idea of having 5 children.
Husband, wife,
so I
children.
know now the question is what happened. I got the first one.
Yes.
And the number in my head kept reducing.
Oh.
Yes. I have only had 1 child.
So what happened to that?
See, we'll get there.
Okay.
Yes. So we have gone through premarital. We've gotten married. I was sexually abused by this man during our honeymoon. That is where it started. And it went on throughout my marriage. So people think sexual abuse is something that happens outside. Details I will not get into, but sexual abuse happens in marriages. That was the one part about my separation and divorce that was the hardest to get over. It's taken years of therapy. That one was very hard for me to understand and to recover from. In a way, I still feel ish about it, but it's taken a lot intense therapy for me to be able to process it. Because the easier thing to do would have been to say, let me suppress it. And I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to, I'm very good at suppressing memories, by the way.
So it helps you cope.
Oh yes. It's a very comfortable thing. Once I forget, they never existed. But the day they just happen to pop up, you get triggered and you run out of your mind because now it will come with so much force. Okay, honeymoon. I had the worst honeymoon, by the way. So Lord, if there is another chance, I want a good one. And from honeymoon, started life together. Can you believe that when we were just a few weeks married, the first time this man threatened to divorce me?
A few weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's what happened. He lost his job at the same time we got married. But he didn't tell me about it until some months later.
Oh my gosh.
Weeks later, weeks later. So he kept it from me. And I got very stressed. I told someone who was close to me then that I'm really scared. My husband just lost his job. I wasn't employed, but I was running a business. I was making handmade jewelry, and I was doing pretty well. But not pretty well to the extent that I was thinking now I have to support the family. Because also I'm thinking, this is a man, he's lost his job, that will definitely affect him in many ways.
Yeah.
And I believe in the traditional roles of a man. He's to provide. I'll support him because I'm his partner. But what happens when up there, there's this vacuum?
Yeah.
This person that I spoke to told me, you must have sinned against God.
Guy.
And I wondered, what did I do? For your husband to lose his job at the same time you got married, you must have sinned.
Guy.
Once I went into repentance mode.
Oh yeah.
So
una repent nini na hata hujakosa?
See, because the woman is always on the wrong. You're forgetting.
Oh, sorry.
We are always on the wrong. We bear all the blame. So I did what I could. Back then, I don't know if I did enough to support him, but it was also stressful because remember, this is also a new setting for me. Yeah. That I'm cooking for someone breakfast, lunch, and supper. Like it's not that I don't feel like cooking today. I'll have an egg and Indomie. You know that life? Huh? No, this is someone who has to eat ugali and
lazima upike.
And then you're getting used to sleeping with someone on the same bed. So unashtuka in the middle of the night. Why is there someone on the bed? I got married.
Guy.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens. So many responsibilities.
All at once.
Yeah. And then now the stress are off. He's lost his job.
Yeah.
I called a pastor friend of mine and I was speaking to him. I was stressed and I was worried. I didn't know what to do, and I was a young girl. Do you know 24 is a child?
Okay, you're still an adolescent.
24 is, right now I look back and think, what were you thinking? Yeah. I would have waited way longer. Yeah. But anyway, I did it. So he told me, I'm going to divorce you. Why are you telling people about our issues? And I'm there thinking, I just wanted someone to pray with me and encourage me. So that's the first time he mentioned divorce. Yeah. And I remember he threatened to beat me up. Because I'm on the phone speaking to a pastor friend. Okay. This is someone I had known for many years, even because we used to minister together in campus. Yeah. And he even came for a wedding. We even have a photo of all of us together. I didn't think much about it. But that is where now my fear of this man came in. And that had until the final day. But I was always cautious. I started walking on eggshells around this man. Yeah. Because even during our honeymoon, that was not even honeymoon. I mean, maybe that's why I don't like eating honey.
Because now
it was bad.
Your memory of honey is just distorted. It's
honey and Mombasa.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I need to do a trip to Mombasa to reconcile with
yourself on that one. Yeah.
I do not like Mombasa because the memories there of the abuse that started. That's the first time he shoved me in the middle of the street. So I was seeing these things happening and telling myself, you need to do better.
If you love him more, he will change.
Yes.
If you do a bit more of this and that,
it's all my fault. And by the way, when we were engaged, remember I was chilling alone. So the person that he decided to go out with, when I asked, he said, you know what you did? I was like, what did I do? So it was my fault that he cheated.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
he was not sorry? He was not taking responsibility?
No. It was my fault.
Okay.
Yes. I was a bad girlfriend. So he decided to cheat. Yeah. Yes. So I internalized that the problem is with me. And that went on for a very long time. So every time he would have an affair, because it wasn't just one, it was always my fault. I'd like to say this publicly. I don't wear those Sengenge t-shirts.
Stocking kwa kichwa?
Stocking, I don't even own stockings. I have very nice pajamas and bedwear, yes.
So it has nothing to do with you?
Yes, and I cook well. So just in case someone claims I didn't... Well, I learned how to cook ugali when I was already married. He taught me. Chapatis.
Atuko pamoja kwa hiyo.
Chapatis I've learned, I think about 8 or so years ago.
I'm still learning.
Because when I first cooked with so much love, you know the way you're a new bride and you cook with so much love.
My husband.
Lord Jesus, they were so bad. Like the ones you'd throw like a frisbee and they cut someone's neck.
Okay.
They were bad.
Oh.
I humbly accept I was bad.
Purple?
Yes.
Okay.
So he very nicely told me, it's okay, darling. He used to call me darling.
Oh.
Yeah, I've not been called such a name since, but he used to call me darling. Amen, sis. Kasema, we will be buying. So we bought chapatis for years. So this now, when I look back, it wasn't about me not knowing how to do certain things that we've been drummed up to believe. When a woman doesn't know how to cook, then her husband will cheat. When the woman doesn't dress well, the husband will cheat. You see? But remember, we are now dealing, now that you have some information, we're dealing with someone who's very manipulative.
Yeah.
So I was blamed for all this. Marriage went on. We got our first child. Now with the first child came some very... when I was expectant, my child is a miracle child. I'd like to encourage anyone who has been called infertile. That is what my file read. Yeah, that I was infertile. And I remember how hard it was. And at that point I expected, hey, he's going to leave because he wants kids.
You had discussed, because I know you wanted 5 children.
Yes.
What about him?
I don't know. But he seemed to agree.
Oh.
Yes. Some health issue was detected just after we had tried to conceive for a while. And let me say this, much as I love my child, I was in the kind of setting where this person is in control, full control. So it was, he even set the wedding date. Everything, he was there. Is there a word like a sayer? Yendie kusema. So we're getting married on this and that date. Okay. Submissive wife.
Oh, hautaki aende na amekuchagua already.
Do you know I was chosen over someone else?
Unataka kujoma.
So by the way, submission is not stupidity, and there's a very, very thin line there. Where I don't know if there's a coward like kagege. I've had that. No, there is submission that is so twisted that this woman looks foolish.
Yeah, but that is the kind of woman, quote unquote, some men want.
And those are the manipulative men.
Yes,
They are the abusers.
narcissistic men, the abusers.
Yes, because for them, what drives them is power and control.
That's true.
So he's making decisions concerning every stage of our lives, of our marriage.
Didn't you feel like there was a disconnect?
No.
You were okay?
I was okay. Because I'm a follower. Gosh, I've even sounded sarcastic saying it, but yes, I'm being sarcastic.
I'm glad you noticed the sarcasm.
I'm being sarcastic, but I was a follower. So he said, it's time for us to get a baby. Yes. We had trouble conceiving. We did very many tests. By then we were residing in Kisumu. He had finally gotten a very good job. We had moved to Kisumu. And still doing my business there, making jewelry, taking orders to Nairobi. It was a comfortable life. I have tasted that side of life, the comfortable one.
So
I got to around 5 months. I found out about a certain woman. Now, one tendency I've had for a very long time, and I'm still trying to get out of it, is being passive aggressive. So I'd shut down. That combined with coming from a family where you do not speak out. First, as who? You're a child. So you do not speak out. So I've always been very used to just keeping things to myself. And that has been very detrimental to my well-being.
I can imagine.
So I kept quiet. I asked about it. This person has left certain clothing items in the back seat. And I'm pregnant. I'm 5 months pregnant. I have what has already been termed as a high-risk pregnancy. But by God's grace, that high-risk pregnancy was the smoothest ever.
Oh. Yeah.
So I shut down and kept quiet. I think for around 2 weeks I couldn't talk. See, we are Christians. Jackie, nilipelekwa kwa pastor. Nilishtakiwa kwa pastor. My wife is refusing to speak to me.
Oh.
See, this is where people, good Christians, go for counseling.
Yes, yes.
So it was about, the idea was, pastor's wife needs to fix me because I'm the one with the problem. This was a very common term in our marriage, where I was being taken to people to be fixed.
Yeah.
So I am asking questions and being very concerned that there seems to be an affair going on. I have proof of a certain person's name and who she is and where she works, but I need to be fixed because I'm not speaking. So me and my pregnancy, we went to church. People, please get professional counselors. Again, I have respect for the church. But there's a reason why you therapists go to school to learn about the human mind and emotions and conflict resolution, everything else that you learn, because it needs to be, you need a deeper explanation.
That is true.
And you need to give people guidance. I read my Bible, yes, and I pray. But what happened that day, I was very disappointed in the church because the pastor's wife said, oh, you need to submit to your husband. You know, right now I'm visualizing me and where she was sitting. She was wearing a blue top. That was in 2013, but yeah, I remember. And at the end, so he's sitting there very smugly, thinking,
Umeambiwa.
Yeah, listen. And at the end, after telling me what I need to do, I need to be submissive, I need to love him because he's the head of the home. It's not that I didn't love him. I was just feeling hurt. Because now remember, much as I'd forgiven him for the other affair, those memories don't go.
No, they don't.
You will always have that what if.
And a lot of flashbacks,
Yes.
you know, like.
So now I was told, now hug your husband.
Wait. Na ile issue mlikomenda could discuss the fact that
See, I've been told to submit.
okay, so that's a non-factor.
Yeah, we've been given a solution. I need to work on myself. Yes. So I was told to submit. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa prescription. So I was told now hug your husband. I'm hugging him zile za. Dude, I don't even like you right now, like hug again. You know? So somehow we got past that. But of course, all this was piling up and I'm still blaming myself. I said, fine. We got through the pregnancy. I thank God I had an amazing pregnancy. Actually, that would motivate me to have more when I remember. It was such a beautiful experience. And especially knowing how hard I prayed for that child to come. Because when I got pregnant, even the doctor was surprised. What? You know? And it's kind of a coincidence that the name that he has is Samuel. It also means asked of God. And I really begged God, give me a child. And well, got a child. Now this is now when other things started coming up. This man will just disappear. So during his, he took his paternity leave and left us.
I'm not surprised.
Let me tell you why this is an important thing for me to mention. How our childhood impacts our relationships. A girl's relationship with her father, that's how she will view men. That's what she believes men should do, men should speak, men should treat her. So This man disappears, and to me it feels normal because my dad used to do the same.
Very familiar, so
It was familiar, so it
no
wasn't
big deal.
It wasn't odd. In fact, the two of us, people still ask, Nge'ndo, how did you end up with this man? Like, it doesn't seem like you're kind of. And I say now it's because it was familiar. The way he'd treat me was very familiar.
Yeah.
So it felt kind of comfortable. And I was not very comfortable with change. Naturally, I'm ish about different environments and different settings. So this man is coming with the same treatment that I knew. I didn't have that level of self-awareness to recognize that, hey, this isn't right. This is familiar. It just flowed. It flowed.
Yeah.
That's how we say it.
Yeah.
Started disappearing. I remember I felt very ill. I had a good delivery. It was a breeze. Well, 3 days, but it was a breeze. And when he went, I said, okay. But I got very sick. So in the first month, when I first got sick, he was not there. I'm holding a child who's, I think, he was 10 days old, and driving myself to hospital in pain. And I was hospitalized for a week. In the first month, the first 4 weeks, from when my child was born, I had a normal delivery. In the first 4 weeks, we spent 2 of those weeks in hospital. The child was perfectly fine, but I was very sick. On the 5th week, just as the 5th week started, I got really sick. And remember, we're in Kisumu, so I was to have a surgery done urgently, but they couldn't do it there. So I took the next flight to Nairobi. And you know what spouses do? You know those beautiful couples where, oh, my wife is unwell.
I need
they
to
hold each other's hands. I don't know if I'm watching too many movies, but I think that's how it's supposed to be.
It is supposed
This
to be.
is your
like
life
that.
partner. This is your child's mother.
Yes.
He did not show up. Actually, by the time I got to Nairobi, even my own parents who came from Njeri, my whole family was there.
And where was he?
My husband was not there. Because he had this very important work retreat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what were you waiting to hear? Gosh, I can be very sarcastic. It was very important. Actually, it was because he did not show up. So I went in for surgery, and my child is just over a month old. So my sister, God bless her, my sister took care of my son because I couldn't. I'm in theater. When I get out, I was coming out and milk was all over. Because that's a newborn. And when I got out of hospital, and one of my cousins, I went to stay with a cousin because they all ganged up and said, Nge'ndo, you're not going back home.
No, you can't.
One,
even
he
be
would
alone.
not allow me to have a house help.
Because I wanted to ask.
No, I didn't have a house help. So it was just me and my son. And he was asked, hey, so why didn't you come to hospital? He showed up way late after I've been discharged. And he said, oh, I didn't think it was anything serious. And I said, it was a major surgery that took me a long time to recover from. And I've just had a baby. You're recovering from childbirth, and then now, as if that's not enough, you have something else to recover from.
Trauma upon trauma.
Yes. So guess now what is showing up, but I still can't recognize it? A total lack of empathy.
Clearly.
None at all. That's not the only surgery I've had. I had another one just a few years back. And it took him 12 hours to get to hospital. From 20 minutes away, like 20 minutes drive. He had refused. He's like, I'm tired. And he's being called to sign the
consent form.
Yes. So I was in hospital from around 10 in the morning. I went to theater past 11 because he came at around 9:30. This information I was not really processing it in the right way. But I was thinking, oh, okay, but that doesn't feel nice. But okay, see, he does these other things.
Oh my God! So you're trying to rationalize the whole
Yes.
situation.
And remember, again, we are told, you defend your husband.
That's bullshit.
It is. At this point, it was because I kept all these things to myself and trying to defend him. Every time something went wrong, I would defend him. So now I don't even realize that, hey, I'm with someone who lacks empathy.
No, you couldn't even see. No,
I couldn't see
you
it
didn't have the
because I would say,
capacity.
oh wait, when we were leaving hospital, well, he bought me this time when I had an incident and I had foot surgery and I had implants. He bought me the walking thingy because I couldn't walk on my feet. So I said, yeah, this is done that, you know. At least, you know, at least.
But you're never supposed to say at least, because that means you're getting below bare minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is what I'd settled for,
Yeah.
because for one, this person has already showed me I'm doing you a favor. I've done you a favor by marrying you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at some point, he told me, very early in our marriage, you think if you left me, anyone else would want you. Jackie, those words were inscribed inside me.
Yeah.
They became what I believed. So I knew one, there is no way out. But remember, getting into marriage, I never thought there would ever be a day that I would be out of it.
Yeah.
For me, marriage was for keeps. My parents have been married for 44 years. Now they celebrated their 44th anniversary. So just looking at them and saying, okay, you'll go through hell and everything else, but you have to stay in it.
It's a do or die issue.
Yes. And God hates divorce.
I know, right?
Why
That's
would
what
I
they
even
say.
think of it?
Abomination.
So, yes, he's doing some things right. So this disappearing act continued. It started with when the child was born. Continued, now it will be a week. So he just sent me a text. I'm on the bus heading to Mombasa. He's left me in the house.
Like an FYI?
Yes, I'm on the bus heading to Mombasa.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, did you like decide like 3 minutes ago? Because I'm in the house.
Yeah.
You left me here. You could have told me.
Namtoto.
Yes. And this is where some men get it twisted. Giving such information is not that you're under this woman. It's not emasculating you. It is simply you having regard for your life partner and informing them that, hey, something has come up, I need to travel.
That is true.
To Mombasa. It's having that respect so that I'm not at home wondering, hey, what's happening? Wana afiki? And someone is, you know.
That is so disrespectful.
It is. But then again, I just say, oh, he'll be back.
Oh.
See, he always comes back. That's the most important thing. He always comes back. Doesn't matter how long it takes. He always comes back. So it went from being 1 week away, 1 month away. This time when he just left the house in the morning, very early before we woke up. So we woke up and I thought, oh, maybe he's gone to town or something. At the end of the day, I wonder, he's not even come for lunch. And, you know, we lived, Kisumu is a very small town. I could actually walk to town. And his office was just a few minutes walk. So, hey, what's up? So I tried calling him, international dial tone.